Good evening, I'm Ces Oreña-Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Shawn Yao.
The big stories tonight. COMELEC has assured there's no shaving and padding in voting results, but election watchdogs doubt if the delay and duplication in data transmission were really as harmless as they sound.
The midterm elections were a story of big comebacks and bigger upsets, from personalities regaining their places in power to well-entrenched politicians being unseated by relative unknowns.
Same goes in local races. Interesting times. From NCR to Mindanao, the proverbial David and Goliath, or David versus Goliath story is also at play, where the supposed dark horse does not always finish the race first.
So, may dagdag bawas pa? I don't know. I hope not. I pray not.
And not long after election returns were transmitted, a glitch came to light. A senatorial candidate received some 5 million votes as reflected in data from the COMELEC server. Critics were quick to say it was dagdag bawas, but the COMELEC had an explanation.
The COMELEC has responded to allegations of dagdag bawas or alleged padding and shaving in the results of Monday's elections. This as election results for the senatorial race went viral because of an alleged discrepancy and decline of about 5 million votes received by one senatorial candidate. COMELEC Chairman George Garcia explained that there were media outfits that released election results without cleansing the raw data or information it received from the COMELEC data server. He also emphasized transparency in the results.
Una-muna gusto kong liwanagin. Ang COMELEC, wala kaming pagsusuma total. Nakita niyo lahat yun. Wala kaming pag-ranking.
The PPCRV is among those who's supposed to receive copies of election returns. It also flagged a suspected discrepancy around 8 last night. Here, they noticed the difference in their internal count and the data received by other outlets coming from COMELEC's transparency server. The poll body went on to explain that this was due to a software that is used to process and filter duplicate entries that have already been transmitted by the precincts. The Department of Information and Communications Technology has looked into the issue and assured that while the transmission from thousands of precincts were duplicated during consolidation, it did not affect the official results and the integrity of the votes. The DICT went on to say that what happened is no cause for alarm and that the election results will still be verified and validated through the election returns. The PPCRV is currently doing a random manual audit on votes coming from the counting machines.
We have two strong audits in place, and I think we should continue to give emphasis and continued vigilance for those audits. So, may dagdag bawas pa? I'll have to tell you, honestly, I don't know. I hope not, I pray not, but at this point, I have to wait for the results of the audits.
Meanwhile, the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, reconvened this afternoon as the National Board of Canvassers, mainly to tally the votes for senators and party list groups. Their focus is now on counting certificates of canvass, or COCs, from the provincial level from overseas and local absentee voters. First in were the local absentee votes, where the so-called Duterte ruled in the Magic 12. Note, though, that most of these came from police and military who voted early. As for overseas votes, almost 72% have been transmitted despite them starting early because transmission coincided with the closing of the polls in the Philippines at 7 p.m. last night. If all goes well, the COMELEC will be able to proclaim winning senators on Saturday. On the other hand, the law-mandated manual auditing of 762 clustered precincts and online voting posts is due to start tomorrow, Wednesday, 2 days after the polls.
There were a couple of surprises in yesterday's midterm elections. We saw unexpected wins and changing of the guard in many positions. And joining us tonight to give us clarity on these movements is our resident Edsplainer. Hi, Bok Ed Lingao. Ed, kamusta yung
Are you
Senate?
seriously using that word, Edsplainer?
Yes, we like puns.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to how the Senate will likely draw their lines in terms of
The new
impeachment
composition.
trial.
Yeah, you know, they say that all roads in the Senate race lead to the impeachment trial. Kasi in the end, of course, the senators, the 24 senators, will be the ones acting as the jury or the jurors in the trial. The Constitution says that you need the 2/3 vote of the Senate. That's basically 16 out of 24. So for you to be able to acquit the accused, in this case, VP Sara Duterte, you need 9 votes para hindi maabot yung 16 na kailangan to convict. So remember, keep that in mind, na 9 votes ang kailangan mo for you to get an acquittal. Now, with the new composition of the Senate, anong naging itsura? Let's look at the matrix here. We will put here those who are pro-impeachment, and over here, yung mga anti-impeachment. Again, disclaimer muna, we're talking about possibilities and probabilities. Nothing is certain in politics, especially in the Philippines, okay? So with that disclaimer, let's start. We have, for example, Bongo. Obviously, he will be anti-impeachment. You have Bato de la Rosa, anti-impeachment. You have Dante Marcoleta, also anti-impeachment. You have Amy Marcos, clearly kaibigan ni VP Sara, anti-impeachment. 4 na kagad yan. Ang cutoff mo is 9 for you to get an acquittal. Meron pa ba? Okay. Let's look at Camille Villar, endorsed by VP Sara Duterte just recently. In fact, sabi ni VP Sara Duterte, ang Villar family ay pagkakatiwalaan ng Duterte family dahil sila ang maaasahan, sila ang tunay na kaibigan ng Duterte family. Keep in mind, the Nacionalista Party is built around the Villar family. Nacionalista Party. So keep that in mind. Bakit kabo? Kasi for example, si Pia Cayetano is with the Nacionalista Party. So ang laki ng possibility that she falls in line with that. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already sa mga incoming senators who probably will vote to acquit. That's 4, 5, 6. Meron pa ba? Remember, the cutoff is 9. Meron pa ba? Of course, you have Robin Hood Padilla. Malino naman sinasabi niya eh. He is anti-impeachment. Okay, 7 na. 2 na lang. Meron pa bang nationalista dito sa mga incumbents? Meron pa eh. You have Mark Villar, ang kapatid ni Camille. So, 8 na. Isa na lang kailangan mo. Meron pa ba?
Alan Peter.
Si Alan Peter is with the NP. So, you have already 9. Very, very probable na boboto against the impeachment. Does this mean that all these guys up here will vote for impeachment? That's the other thing eh. Hindi rin eh. Kasi among these, for example, the holdover senators, you have a number who have already said that they are not interested in pursuing impeachment because they would rather deal with other issues first rather than impeachment. So, in all likelihood, you will have additional senators from here adding to the 9 already likely to vote against impeachment. So, I leave the math to you. Pero nga, remember, the cutoff is 9. We already have 9 here. So, you may have plus over there.
But Ed, let me ask you, will the admin still insist on going through the process despite the math?
Well, I'm not sure that they have a choice eh, kasi you know it's part of the impeachment process. The impeachment process has already been initiated. Somebody's been impeached already, and the Constitution requires that the Senate convene forthwith. To try. In fact, the question before was, what does forthwith mean? Does it mean immediately or immediately upon our convenience? Remember, that was the discussion before.
Right.
So if you follow that and you follow the constitutional provisions on impeachment, it's obviously requiring that the process be finished. And that would mean that the trial has to be conducted. Actually, the question now before was when, and whether forthwith means right now or when we want to. So as far as that is concerned, I suppose the answer to that is wala naman silang choice. Kailangan silang talagang umanda dun sa impeachment.
Okay, dyan sa board mo, meron ka bang house prosecutors? Dahil may mga hindi nanalo among the house prosecutors.
For example, si Dan Fernandez, I'm not sure if Benny Abante is also one of those who are in the prosecution panel. However, remember, the prosecution panel naman can be replaced. I mean, there's nothing stopping the lower house from putting in new faces, new people joining the House of Representatives. Remember, you're likely to see Laila de Lima and maybe Chel Jokno also joining the House of Representatives. Whether they will be part of the prosecution panel, that remains to be seen. Pero yun nga hindi naman importante kung ano mga pangalan nasa prosecution panel, so long as you have a strong prosecution panel that is able to push their case in court.
Okay, pero Bok, what does this mean for the opposition? We saw a big upset last night. Better than expected numbers for Kiko Pangilinan and Bam Aquino. Now we have two oppositions, the so-called true opposition and the Duterte opposition. What are the implications of that?
Oh, well, in answer to that, let me show you some maps, some heat
Sure.
maps that we have. People are wondering, saan ang galing si Bam tsaka si Kiko? Ba't bigla silang lumitaw, di ba? All this time, they've been wallowing doon sa baba na parang, are they gonna make it or not? Biglang, number 2 at number 5. Saan ang galing yun? Okay, I know Ces hates this, pero let's look at the L2L corridor.
I don't hate it. Kau naman.
Yung Lingayen to Lucena corridor. But this time kasi, it's good that we look at it because they have numbers eh. Okay, why is the L2L corridor, the Lingayen to Lucena corridor, so important? Because nandito po ang 39 to 40% ng mga registered voters nationwide. Ibig sabihin, 4 out of every 10 voters are here in this strip of land in Luzon. So, ang laki-laking portion po niyan. Now, if you look at the L2L corridor, let's do a double click. Sinong number 1 sa L2L corridor? Bam Aquino, already with 10 million. That's what? I think that's more or less half na nakuha niya in total from the entire country. I haven't updated myself on the numbers mismo eh. Pero ang laki na yan, that's 10 million eh. Bongo number 2, Kiko Pangilinan number 3 with 7 million. So in this corridor where you have 39 to 40% of all registered voters, 1 and 3 na si Bam at si Kiko. Let me show you something else. Okay, this is also interesting. Let's zero in kay Bam Aquino. Okay, you have 3 election cycles here. 2013, nanalo siya. 2019, natalo siya, number 14 siya. 2025, panalo siya, number 2 siya. Doon sa 2019, kung saan natalo si Bam Aquino, look at the colors ha. The lighter colors and the darker colors. Yung darker colors, yung dark green, these are the provinces where Bam Aquino nakapasok sa top 12. Ibig sabihin, panalo siya sa mga probinsyang yon. Sa lighter colors, hindi siya pumasok. In 2019, a big chunk of Luzon is light green. Hindi siya pumasok sa Cordillera region, sa Ilocos region, Cagayan Valley, and this is Nueva Ecija, Nueva Vizcaya, and so on and so forth. Also portions of southern Luzon. Mindanao, wala siyang napanalo at all sa Mindanao in 2019. Tingnan mo nagbago sa 2025. 2025, Bam Aquino gets all of Luzon except for Abra. All of it is completely dark green. Same goes with most of the Visayas except for Samar. Kuha niya yan. Tapos, even in Mindanao, kung dati wala siya nakuha sa Mindanao, ngayon, ang Mindanao, nakuha niya, for example, to Zamboanga del Norte, Misamis, Sutang Kudarat, this I think is South Cotabato, and Agusan, and Lanao del Norte. So, nagbagong ihip ng hangin at makikita mo ko sa mga probinsya at sa mga rehiyon, umangat si Bam Aquino. Even in Mindanao, Duterte country, umangat siya.
Even sa Solid North, no?
Solid North.
Kasi
Solid
Abra
North
lang
siya.
yung parang
Except
hindi.
for Abra.
Oo.
Diba? And that surprised a lot of people. If you want, let's look at some more maps here. Tingnan natin ang regional. Okay. National Capital Region, Bam Aquino, NCR, that's 7 million voters, di ba? Bam Aquino is number 1 with 3.2 million voters. Bongo, of course. Kiko Pangilinan is number 3 with 2.3 million voters. Ano yung pinakamalaking, the region with the most number of voters is actually Region 4A.
Calabarzon.
Diba?
Calabarzon.
Tingnan mo yung numbers. Sino number 1? Bam Aquino. With 3.73 million votes. Calabarzon, if I remember right, is mga 9 million voters, around 13% of the total number of registered voters. So, dyan, angat si Bam Aquino, number 3, si Kiko Pangilinan. So, na-carry sila ng Region 4A. Number 2 region in terms of voting population is Region 3. Magkasunod yung dalawang yan. Tingnan natin Region 3. Uy! Sorry, naglalag.
Central
Baka walang load.
Ayun na.
Okay. Sa Region 3 man, Bam Aquino still is number 1 with 3 million. Region 3, if I remember right, mga
Tarlac,
10%.
Central
Pero
Luzon.
baluarte niya yan.
Oo,
Oo,
andyan
you
yung
can
Tarlac
say.
eh.
Na baluarte niya.
That's 3 million already. Just for that region, ha? And you saw nga kanina, eh. Ang dami niyang region na pinasok niya. Now, number 1, si Bam Aquino. Number 2, Bongo. 3, 4, si Kiko Pangilinan with 2.1 million. So, dyan pa lang sa mga yan, angat na angat sila. Tingnan mo yung Region 7, which is, this is the Cebu region, Central Visayas. Iba yung mga numbers. Bongo, Bato, Jimmy Bondok, puro PDP laban.
Bok,
Pero pasok pa rin si Bam dyan.
can
Pasok
we
pa rin, pero
see
mababa.
where the votes for Marcoleta came from?
The votes for Marcoleta, let me see where we can see that. Okay. Okay, Marcoleta.
14 million.
There you go. Rodante
Mindanao.
Marcoleta. Same legend. Light green is where you did not get top 12. You're not part of the top 12. Dark green should be where you are in the top 12 of the
So
province.
it's very heavy in Mindanao.
Mindanao. Kita mo, ang Luzon, hindi masyado except for his hometown or home province, Tarlac. This is Pampanga, this is Tarlac. Well, magkakadikit yung mga yan. This should be Bataan, Rizal, Metro Manila, and Cavite. This is Negros, Oriental. Cebu, of course, is major. You're looking at 3.7 million voters. Bohol, Leyte, and almost all of Mindanao except only for Misamis Occidental.
So, Bok, parang ano yan, ano? Kumbaga, dinala siya ng mga Duterte, more than the block vote. Ganun ba yung nakikita natin sa heat map?
Yeah, kasi ang hirap naman sabihin ng block vote, not unless you're nanganganib eh. Na you're so far down na you know, pwede ka ma-swing by a small margin.
What is that green spot up there? Dark green in
Here?
the north. No, I meant in the
This one, Abra.
Abra. Still Abra.
Abra.
Well, Abra, hindi ganun karami yung voters naman dyan. Pero yeah, still.
Pok, I also wanted to check on Senator Amy Marcos kasi based on surveys, there were some kung saan pasok siya, by some din na hindi, but taking a look at the partial and unofficial results, she is at number 12. So, taking a look at that heat map, mukhang nag-deliver pa rin para sa kanya ang Solid North.
Yeah, Solid North gave her a big chunk pero a big part of the L2L.
Wala. No, I wanted to point that out, Ed. Wala siya sa L2L.
Yeah. Well, Lingayen, Pangasinan, no?
Oh, well, Lingayen.
Pasok siya.
Si Ilocano,
Tarlac.
mga Ilocano.
Kasama sa LTL yan eh.
Pero yung Lucena, hindi.
Lucena, well, Quezon.
Quezon, pasok
Lucena
siya.
and Quezon. So,
yan,
pasok siya yan. Pero for example, itong mga probinsyang Pampanga, Bulacan, malalaki yan ha. Metro Manila, Cavite, malalaki talaga yan. Batangas, those are the top provinces in terms of voting population. So, hindi siya pumasok doon sa top 12. Na-carry man siya nitong big chunk here of Luzon, but this is not as populated as this portion of the L2L. Diba?
And Mindanao, Bok, parang hati eh, no?
Oo, hati siya. This is, I mean, no? Okay. This should be Agusan. Yeah, Agusan. Pasok siya sa Agusan. Pasok siya sa portions of Davao, Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur. Hindi siya pumasok sa Davao de Oro at Davao Oriental. So,
Davao hindi,
doon may hati. Pasok siya sa Sultan Kudarat. This is South Cotabato, Maguindanao del Norte, and del Sur, and Lanao, and so on down the line. So, pasok siya sa, sa portions of Central Mindanao.
Can we see how she did in NCR or Calabarzon?
Okay.
Where Bam Aquino did very well, made number 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
very well.
Calabarzon muna tayo, which is Region 4A. Okay, where is... Teka,
Wala siya.
Color pink siya dyan, di
Parang
ba?
ano?
Col?
You mean she was not, wala.
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 Not in
Wala, I
top
don't see
12.
her here eh.
Number,
Hindi siya pumasok sa top 15
hindi siya pumasok
ng
sa top
4A.
15.
Tingnan
This
natin
is
region-
Calabarzon.
Oh, Calabarzon. Next should be Region 3.
Yung Region 3, medyo mahirap talagang pindutin.
Oo, papansin ko sa Region 3.
Ayun na,
Ayun,
ayun
yun,
na.
okay. Okay, Amy Marcos pasok sa Region 3 with 1.5 million votes. Not so much.
NCR.
Oo. NCR. Okay, baba siya, 1.4.
Mga 15.
Oo, with the 20, I think this is 15 nga. This is the top 15 niya, tama. Dulo siya. 24.45% of the vote. So, pasok siya more doon sa upper north and portions of Mindanao. And I think, let me check with the Region 7.
Yung Cebu, saan ba yun?
Ito, Region 7 ng Cebu eh. I
Hindi
don't
din.
see her name here eh. Let's drill down to Cebu kung gusto nyo. Let's look at
So when you
provincial.
look at it, the endorsement of VP, did it carry her?
throughout the whole Mindanao?
This is Cebu. Cebu, Amy Marcos is in the top 12. Top 12 naman to. Pero nasa dulo siya. Baba 576, half a million.
Okay, speaking of dark horses, Bok, why don't we check on Kiko Pangilinan? Kasi unlike Bam Aquino na pumapasok na sa survey nung papalapit na yung election, no? Si Kiko parang hindi. And then all of a sudden, ang ganda ng numbers niya now that we got it. So, ganun din ba? Same voters voted for him as Bam? Would you say?
Gain ka sa kaldero kasi.
Kailangan subukan, ano?
Teka, what do you wanna know? Sige, let's look at...
Tingnan natin yung heat map.
Let's look at we call this the tree map. Kiko Pangilinan, where did you
that's
get most of
better,
your
so we
votes?
can see.
NCR. This is depending on the size. The bigger the size of the
The
symbol,
electorate. The voters?
the size of the
The
Box?
shape, yeah.
the rectangle. That is in
The
proportion
tile.
to the size of your vote. Diyan muna ko mas malaki mong boto. So 15% of Kiko's votes came from NCR. That's the biggest chunk. Followed by Cavite, 660,000. And then Bulacan, Cebu, Laguna, yan. Batangas, Pangasinan. Yan. You'll see that as proportions of where he got his votes. So, biggest chunk is NCR. You want to see ano? For
We
example,
wanna see Bongo.
Bongo. NCR.
NCR.
NCR followed by Cebu, Davao del Sur, Cavite, Bulacan.
Actually, Bok, pag tinignan yung heat map ni Bongo, no, parang dark green siya halos sa buong Pilipinas. It's not just focused on Mindanao. Of course, he is allied with former President Duterte. Ayan. So,
Yeah.
There you go. Hindi lang siya pumasok dito sa Ilocos Norte.
Sa Ilocos Norte, Region 1.
Sa Ilocos Norte. I wonder why.
Bok, parang we can compare this, no, with his 2019 senatorial bid. I believe dun sa comparative. Can we compare how he performed?
Hindi siya nakasama sa comparative dito eh. Teka. I didn't see him. Here. Sorry, yeah, he's here. Panipalas ba ito? Nandito eh. Okay. 2019, again, remember the legend, dark green, pasok ka sa top 12, light green, hindi ka pasok sa top 12. Okay, number 3 si Bato, so si Bongo noong 2019, number 1 na siya sa 2025. Kita mo, ang kaibahan, Ilocos Norte, lang siya hindi pumasok this year. Everything else is dark green, pasok siya sa top 12. Versus 2019, hindi siya pasok sa Bicol area, Camarines Sur, Camarines Norte, Sorsogon, Albay, Catanduanes, and Antique. So,
Ang kampanya ba ni Bongo, nagsusolo siya?
well, sabi niya, nagsasolo siya kasi wala raw silang makinarya. And parang lonely siya eh. Kasi hindi naman sila ganun kabati ni VP sa Duterte. Well, that's what I heard.
Until lately.
But even then, may konti pa rin ano yan.
O nga,
Residual
tinatanong
friction.
natin si Maluti Kiyam, umiiwas siya sa sagot. Hindi, something to do with the family. It
Yeah.
was really a
Oh
family.
yeah. Talaga, there's some things I cannot tell you here.
Mamaya na lang.
You did whisper it to me.
So there, pag gusto mo malaman.
Tingnan natin, no? Sino pa bang mga dark horse na nagulat kayo? Were you shocked by anybody else's performance? Or poor performance, perhaps?
Baka gusto mo malaman, for example, si
Camille Villar.
Sige.
Kasi ang gulo, hindi natin sure kung nasa alyansa ba siya,
Oo
kung
nga.
in-endorso siya
At saka yung pagkaka-endorse, makikita rin siguro natin yung effect of the endorsement by VP Sara toward the end, if it really delivered.
Camille Villar, here we go. Oy, nako.
Oy.
Again, dark green is pasok sa top 12, light green is hindi pasok sa top 12.
Interesting.
Yung
Mindanao
L12
is very
corridor,
dark.
hindi siya pasok
sa
except
L12.
for Zambales and I think this is Bataan. Yeah. Everything else is light green.
Pero dun sa taas, sa bandang Ilocos, no, pasok
Oo.
siya.
Oo,
So, yun yung
Ilocos,
alyansa
Cordillera
side.
yan.
Tapos sa Mindanao, malaking chunk, pasok din siya.
Only except for this, Agusan del Sud, na hindi ganun karaming tao siguro. Tapos yung Maguindanao del Norte and Maguindanao del Sur.
But look at the Visayas.
And
I mean,
also Sulu.
So
Visayas,
Alianza
200.
delivered for her in the north, and then
The Dutertes-
VP Sara delivered for her in the south. So,
But Central Luzon did not, so NCR, no,
wala ang
Metro
Central
Manila.
Luzon. Walang-
That's
walang ano.
despite Camille Villar going heavy on her advertisements, right? Her campaign.
Correct.
She allegedly reached 3 billion pesos
Spent
sa
the
kanyang
most.
campaign spending, ano?
And
Can we see
and that's
Las
heavily
that was
focused
before
usually
pa
in
the filing of the COCs.
Correct,
Yeah.
opo. So,
Can we see how she did it? Of course, I know it's in Las Piñas, but because of the upset that happened there,
With her mom,
with
Cynthia
her-
Villar.
Okay,
Yes.
let's look at Metro Manila then. In Las Piñas. Okay, there you go. You're looking at Camille, no? Looking for Camille. I don't
so
seem to see
parang
her.
Ayun,
here.
nandun.
pang 6.
nasa
Is she here?
six spot.
Here, sorry. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Number 6, 86,000.
So not that
Not that
great.
great.
384.
In her own hometown.
Compare mo sa iba, nagmi-millions. Sorry, this is only for Las Piñas pala.
For
So,
Las
it shouldn't be
Piñas.
that big.
Oh. No, because that's their turf.
Yeah, it's their turf. It's supposed to be their bailiwick.
Right.
So,
Okay, ano pang mga gusto nating malaman? You were saying?
Party list, maybe we can take a look. It was an interesting race as well, with Akbayan getting the most number of votes.
You want to see where they got the votes? Okay, for example, Akbayan. Again, uy.
What does a light
Oh,
green
kasi-
represent this time?
Are we
Ay,
working
no,
on the same
sorry.
legend?
Maybe that
baka
the
hindi siya
tiles,
updated,
the tile
Ah.
presentation.
Baka hindi siya updated kasi light green is supposed to signify that it did not earn 2% of the votes. Pero yun nga, clearly they earned 3 seats eh. So baka this is not updated.
Because it's hard when you break down the party list per province. Parang
Medyo.
you're never gonna get to,
That's true.
unless it's a very local-centric party list, when some of them really do play that game na,
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
how they do it.
yeah, but maybe Akbayan is more national,
Yes.
perhaps? Maybe that's what this graph is trying to tell us.
Is there a tile presentation, yung rectangular for that?
Let's
map.
see. You mean the tree map?
What
I
do you
hope
call that
this is
map?
also
Tree
updated.
map.
Okay, there you go.
There.
Party list ng Akbayan, NCR gave them 27%
Oh.
of what they got in total. So, that's already what? 1 out of every 4 votes that they got came from National Capital Region. Alaking bagay ng NCR vote.
Then
Followed by Cavite.
Cavite.
Cavite, of course, is number 2. Voting population ng probinsya. Wala siyang Cebu. Cebu also gave them 3% of their votes.
So they
Rizal,
got
4%.
their votes from the heavily populated, heavy
Vote-rich.
voter.
Voter-rich.
Duterte
rich
Youth, you want to see?
Yeah. They're number 2,
NCR, although 13% lang.
13%. And is that Cebu?
Followed by Cebu with 10%. And Davao Sur, Davao Norte, Laguna, Bulacan. Pero bulk is 13% NCR. Tingog, of course, is Romualdez.
Is it
Leyte, nabigay ng 23%.
Leyte.
Leyte?
Cebu.
Cebu, here. Number 3 siya. 6.96% coming from Cebu. After Samar, mas marami pa sa Samar.
So really all. What about AXIS? I mean, they used to be number 1.
Yeah, they were consistently number 1 for a while.
Yep.
NCR, 21%. Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal. Talagang
Yung
laking-
ako Bicol, para makita natin
Oo nga
kung
eh.
talagang
Kung may
Bicol
regional
lang
ba?
bumuboto
Kung may
sa
regional
kanila.
talaga.
O, paano
Oy,
ba?
Albay.
Tama naman, Albay.
Albay. But the Albay is Albay is the doon nakatira siya, di ba? Si Zaldi.
Zaldi. I think every...
There you go. That's 20. That's
And then next is
30%.
Kamsur. Okay,
Kamsur, Sorsogon.
which goes to show you can just focus on your turf and then you'll be carried.
If your turf has a big enough number of votes, then pwedeng mabuhos ang pera doon. You just need to get 2% naman of the total vote
Which
cast.
disproves what the... I mean, it goes against the grain of what party list
Party
is
list.
for,
Yeah.
which is the
For
marginalized.
the marginalized and for
Or
those who are
Sector,
underrepresented.
sector representation.
But yeah, we've had the Supreme Court ruling on that already. So until that law is amended, then we will continue to have this kind of a situation. Ano pa ang gusto makita? Locals.
Let's look at the locals. Maybe let's start with a big
Cebu.
upset
Let's start with the David versus Goliath
Oh, saan?
battles.
in,
Saan?
in the
Cebu.
locals.
Cebu.
Cebu.
I was thinking nga Cebu eh. Kasi Cebu, na-upend yung the Garcia family of Cebu, for the longest time, I'm sure Cesar remembers Pablo Garcia, the old man of Cebu. Anak niya si Gwen Garcia. Pam Baricuatro got 1 million votes versus Gwen Garcia only getting 750 votes. Remember, si Pam Baricuatro is a political neophyte, a former flight purser, senior stewardess who put up some NGOs and all that. Tapos,
She's very active in the NGO movement.
Tapos yan, from there. And sabi nga, ang kwento ni Earl, dati sila magkakaibigan ni Gwen Garcia.
She took the spot of Dr. Rowena, di ba nagkaroon ng gulo yun? Some
Yun
years
nga.
back.
Silang tatlo raw magkakaibigan dati.
Correct.
Rowena, Gwen, and itong si Pam Baricuatro. For some reason, nag-away-away si Rowena at saka si Garcia. Pinakulong si Rowena, namatay si Rowena, nagalit si Pam Baricuatro, and she vowed to avenge.
To avenge, and she did.
She did, but take note, according to Earl Pareño, before the Duterte arrest, she was not registering at all in the surveys, at least not much.
She is with PDP Laban,
She
right?
is with PDP Laban.
After the arrest of Duterte, sympathy vote. So magmula noon, umangat si Pam Baricuatro, and now siya yung panalo for governor.
Meron ding mga nag-pull out pero hindi natanggal yung pangalan nila sa balota. One example of that is Doc Willie Ong.
Si Doc
Pwede
Willie
ba
Ong.
nating silipin kung kung may bumoto ba for him?
Teka, parang hindi ko nakita yung Teka, let me check. List. Ito. Number 27.
Wow.
With 7.2 million votes. Oh.
So he actually beat a lot of more, kumbaga, popular or
Talo niya
more.
si Gringo
Katalo niya si Gringo.
Nasan. Luke
Luke
Espiritu,
Espiritu.
Teddy Casino, Kibuloy, talo niya si Kibuloy.
Franz Castro,
Si Ariel Quirobin, si Balon, Arambulo, Matula, etc. Si Heidi Mendoza, talo si Willie Rebillame.
That's
Although
another
pares silang talo, pero mas Heidi got 8.6 million, Willie got 8.4 million, Vic Rodriguez got 8.2 million, Raul Lambino got 8.1 million, Francis Tolentino got 7.5 million. So talo pa ni Heidi by almost a million.
Definitely a lot of upsets and surprises this midterm elections. Usually, hindi naman ganito ka-exciting
Oo
pag
nga.
midterms.
Nako, the Explainer brought us from Apari to Holo in your maps. Thank you so much for your analysis explanation. Ed
Feeler lang
Lingao,
ako, feeler.
the Explainer. Thank
Okay,
you.
salamat.
All right, we're just going to pause for a quick break, but coming up, from comebacks to family dynamics, the local race was anything but dull. Let's recap the results when we return. Stay tuned.
The big story is back with election winners from the National Capital Region. Most winning candidates in Metro Manila have been proclaimed, including in Quezon City, San Juan, and Pasay, many of them incumbents. Some cities also saw shuffling of family names. In Marikina, Representative Maan Teodoro, wife of outgoing Mayor Marcy Teodoro, secured the mayoral seat, but Marcy, as congressional seat winner, will not be proclaimed just yet. There are still unresolved complaints lodged against him over alleged misconduct and misrepresentation. In Makati City, Senator Nancy Binay claimed the mayoral seat, defeating her brother-in-law, Congressman Luis Campos. And finally, in Pasig City, Mayor Vico Soto secured his third and final term by a landslide against businesswoman Sara Diskaya. His entire slate under Giting ng Pasig all won.
Pagtitibayin natin yung mga nasimulan na pagbabago, reforma, kailangan siguraduhin natin na ma-institutionalize. Ibig sabihin dapat kung sino yung mga susunod na leader sa Pasig, sisiguraduhin natin na mas mahirap nang gumawa ng masama, mas mahirap nang maging corrupt,
There are also other colorful races, this time outside of Metro Manila. In Davao City, the Dutertes proved they reigned supreme as they swept almost all of the major posts. Leading them, of course, is former President Rodrigo Duterte as mayor, despite campaigning all the way from The Hague against his former cabinet secretary, Carlo Nograles. Now, even in the lower house, Pulong Duterte reigned supreme over PBA party list representative Migs Nograles. That's despite his viral alleged drunken assault in a bar in their own city. But perhaps the biggest upset happened in Cebu province, where veteran Gwen Garcia was unseated by newcomer Pam Baricuato for governor. Baricuato ran under Duterte's PDP Laban and is the head of an NGO, Simply Share Foundation.
Unexpected talaga. No, hindi ko talaga inasahan because after all, when I started, I was branded as who you. I don't, although I have a political party that's backing me up, but I don't have a machinery. I didn't have much funds to back me up the way the opponent has. No, the resources that they have. This is really victory for the people of Cebu.
Also a massive upset for Senator Cynthia Villar, who lost to Las Piñas City Councilor Mark Anthony Santos in the race to represent the city's lone district in the lower house. This will be the first time a Villar will not be occupying the said seat since former Senator Manny Villar first held it in 1992.
We're going to pause for a quick break, but when we return, who is the real opposition now? We'll be taking a look, or another look, at the composition of the 20th Congress, the Senate side this time. When the big story returns, keep it here on One News.
The big story is back with an interesting mix of lawmakers for the 20th Congress. They're all together now, Alianza, Duterte, and traditional opposition legislators sitting in the upper chamber as colleagues. Mayan Los Baños with the report.
So far, 6 senatorial candidates under Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas have made it to the Magic 12 based on partial and unofficial results of the count. They're Erwin Tulfo, Tito Soto, Ping Lacson, Pia Cayetano, and Lito Lapid, as well as Camille Villar, although she was also endorsed by Vice President Sara Duterte. This early, President Bongbong Marcos is thanking those who supported his ticket. For him, this is proof that, quote, once again, our democracy has renewed itself peacefully, orderly, and with dignity. The president went on, we may not have won every seat, but our work and mission continue. He also congratulated those who won from other political parties and urged everyone to move forward. For his part, Erwin Tulfo sees a united new Senate, vowing to reach out to every camp in the upper chamber. Former Senate President Tito Soto only has thanks for those who have elected him for a 5th time. Senator Bong Revilla is also grateful. Although he failed to make the cut, he too is calling for unity. On the side are the Bongo Bato de la Rosa and Rodante Marcoleta made it to the winning circle, with Amy Marcos making it to the 12th spot of Alianza and later on endorsed by VP Sara. Go and De La Rosa believe there's something behind their big win.
Malaking bagay rin po yun, no? Nung may sympathy votes naman talagang galit yung tao. Malaking tulong yung nangyari, no? Sa amin, sa team, siyempre, pero malaking kawalan rin po yung kanyang physical presence sa mga rallies.
Yan ang malaking dahilan bakit kami umangat. Yung pag-kidnap at pagdala kay Pangulong Duterte doon sa Daig. So, naggalit yung taong bayan, kaya sila ngayon rumisbak ng taong bayan through their votes.
Meanwhile, comeback is real for Bam Aquino and Kiko Pangilinan after they successfully landed not just the top 12 but the top 5. They were as surprised as many who saw them struggle in various pre-election surveys.
Sabi ko nga, kailangan namin ng milagro para manalo at mukhang yun ang nangyari.
And I took a look at the phone, 250 messages, 80 messages, 150 messages, lahat. Congratulations, congratulations. So at that point, naisip ko, baka nga nanalo tayo. But that result is really not what we all expected.
But for TV5 Chief Election Analyst Edson Guido, Aquino's victory is not at all surprising. He got the highest number of votes from top 3 vote-rich regions, Calabarzon, Central Luzon, and Metro Manila, otherwise known as the Lingayen-Lucena Corridor.
Kung how crucial the Lingayen-Lucena Corridor is. Isipin nyo, Lingayen-Lucena Corridor pa lang, halos 10 million votes na ang nakuha ni Bam Aquino.
In the case of Pangilinan, he has millennials and Gen Z voters to thank.
I think the Filipinos are also sick and tired already of divisiveness. No? Laging factions ang nangyayari. And so, yun nga, medyo hindi natin nakita yung third force, no? Na nandyan lang. And then they were able to capitalize on that. Not to mention the issues na sinakyan nila. Diba? Mga issues kasi na sinakyan nila is all about the youth, no? Education. Kay Senator Kiko is more about food security, agriculture, na talagang pangailangan natin ngayon. So I think it resonated well with the public.
In the party list race, Akbayan dominated with human rights lawyer Chel Jokno as first nominee.
We were also not sure how the results would come out because of the surveys that we had seen. But I think it's a combination of the work that Akbayan did on the ground, as well as what we call the air war pagdating sa kampanya.
Mamamayang Liberal Party List Representative Laila de Lima is also assured of a seat. For Senate Minority Member Risa Hontiveros, this isn't just a simple comeback for the traditional opposition, but proof that, quote, lumalakas na ang totoong oposisyon sa Senado at Kongreso. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
Well, survey firms admit being surprised as well by the outcome of the midterm elections. As in previous election cycles, surveys normally have a very minimal ±5 margin of error. So although Bongo topped all the surveys, Bam Aquino landing in second place is one curious case.
We're quite surprised that we were not getting Bam Aquino and Kiko Pangilinan in the top 12 for all the surveys we did. And not just us, other survey outfits as well. So it's quite surprising. In the past, we would miss at just one, if at most. If we didn't get all, we would miss just one. But this is really unusual because they were so far from the top 12.
For political analyst Froilan Kalilung, it could be because some demographics have not been touched. The largest chunk of voters this election. Sympathy votes also appear to have played a role in the midterm outcome.
Hindi na-touch ng pre-poll surveys yung demographic segment talaga. Halimbawa itong youth votes natin, the Gen Z and the millennials that comprise a good majority of the voters, the registered voters for these elections. I think it was not equally represented doon sa kanilang sampling. Madaling alamin yung sentimiento ng mga tao because walang kumbaga exogenous variables walang impeachment, walang arrest.
Our big picture tonight, still of course following the theme of the recently concluded elections, and that picture is the youngest mayor in the Philippines. We have 21-year-old Jamila Ruma, mayor-elect of the municipality of Rizal in Cagayan Province. She is the daughter of slain Mayor Joel Ruma, who was ambushed in a campaign event last April 23, an event that pushed Jamila into the political arena. Her victory was decisive, with over 5,000 votes, defeating 2 retired generals. Her mother, Vice Mayor Brenda Ruma, also won re-election. Jamila graduated with honors in development studies from De La Salle University, Manila, even winning Best Thesis and Best Thesis Presenter.
Oh, it's really the era of the millennials and the Gen Zs, right? Yeah. I mean, they were the ones who sort of was a catalyst in the election, the changes.
And they were the threw a monkey wrench into the results, and also to the survey firms who had to admit today, as we just heard from Paui's report, na things maybe have to change in the way they conduct it.
It's nice also, I just saw on social media also, Gen Zs were actually helping their parents vote. They would give them lists of this candidate has this platform, so I guess they sort of helped also in how the older generations
kind of had a new perspective.
Right, in choosing their candidates.
So that's nice to hear.
That's a good sign.
It's a good
very,
sign.
very good
You
sign.
can imagine at the dinner table, families are discussing this, right, more openly. And I hope it puts an end to the super divisive politics that we have gotten used to.
Well, I don't know.
Or is that wishful thinking?
It is,
Probably.
but, well, I hope also with the just concluded elections that, we approach it with so much enthusiasm. We should also monitor, watch, hold those people that we elected to account.
Yes.
Hindi hanggang botohan lang.
Nilista ko na nga yung mga promises, mga nakakausap natin
talaga?
kagabi. Titingnan natin if
okay.
they deliver, right? But I
Tama.
guess this just proves that hope springs eternal.
There
And
you
there
go.
is hope.
So,
So that's it for the big story on this Tuesday evening, May 13, one day after the 2025 midterm elections.
we are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thank you for watching The Big Story and our 31-hour election marathon. We hope you liked our maps, our, going so granular into the provinces. So have a good night, everyone. Thank you.